Today is the first Sunday of Advent. Advent is the Latin word for coming. The season of Advent allows the Church to spend time in preparation for the coming or for the arrival of Jesus Christ. There are three meanings of coming in Advent. The first happened about 2,000 years ago when Jesus came into the world as a baby. The second can happen now as Jesus wants to come into our lives. And the third will happen in the future when Jesus comes back into the world. We mark the season with the practice of lighting the Advent wreath. Each Sunday, we light a candle that helps us focus on hope, peace, joy, or love. Today, we start with the candle of hope. With the candle, we ask the question, where have we found hope in the past year? First Peter chapter 1, verse 21 states, "Through Christ you have come to trust in God, and you have placed your faith and hope in God, because he raised Christ from the dead and gave him great glory."
We have lit the candle of Advent, the first candle of Advent. It is the candle of hope. Hope that the baby Jesus can continue to shed light around the whole world. I would like to share with you some of the hopeful moments in my life, in my 86 plus years. I remember as a child my dad saying he wished for hope for rain or hope for sunshine and hope for no hail so that his crops would mature. My mom, being a seamstress, a mom, and a farmer's wife, hoped to pursue her career of nursing, which she done. Many years later, I hoped my dad's health would return. And later after that, I hoped that the medication would work and he would not suffer. I also hoped that my grandson Tony would be able to be healed and return to health. It was not to be. I hope that my family members that contacted COVID will not suffer any long-term effects, indeed that the whole world will not. And now we hope that this pandemic can end someday soon and life can get back to normal. I think that hope is like a prayer. You could say, I will pray, or I hope. So I pray this day that the light of Christ's light can shine around the whole world. The world can be healthy. And that is my prayer for this day, for the candle of hope.
Many times during the pandemic were hope-filled, which have helped carry me through. We were fortunate at Robert McClure to have praying through the pandemic with Reverend Kelly every day for several months. Our church services moved to online with the help of many people and have been a marvelous inspiration and the hope of being back in our building soon. In August, this past summer, I took up the challenge by Reverend Kelly to read the book of Acts, which was not only informative, but gave me messages of hope in the Bible. I also had a great sense of hope and relief that my partner Scott and I were still able to spend the winter in Puerto Vallarta and not be too fearful of contracting COVID by avoiding the crowds and staying near our complex in our condo. While we were in Mexico, my dear nephew Tony passed away. I was extremely sad not to be home with my family, especially my sister Barbara and my brother-in-law Gordon, for the candlelight vigil. Although I did join by video messenger, I felt the deep pain from everyone. I could hear my son and my granddaughter crying while they were holding the phone to show me the video. My great sense of hope that night, and still today, was that together with Barbara, Gordon, and all the others, we will meet Tony again someday, and that we know he left his worldly home and is now pain-free. As Christmas approaches, my prayer for each of us is that we will be encouraged as we realize that Jesus really is the hope of the world, just as he said.
Hope is a star that shines in the night, leading us on till the morning is bright. When God is a child, there's joy in our song. The last shall be first, and the weak shall be strong, and none shall be